Hi friends, welcome back to Lee TV. Last week I wrote my most popular article to date, at least in the Epoch Times. Doctor concerned about Canadian human trials of virus vaccine developed in partnership with Chinese military. I'm not sure if most Canadians knew about this, but they found out. This one's been shared 246 times and had 38 comments. A medical doctor is expressing concern about Canadians receiving an experimental COVID-19 vaccine developed with the help of the Chinese military. Canada's National Research Council announced a collaboration initiative with the Chinese company CanSino Biologics Inc. on the clinical development of the company's new 85N-CoV vaccine. CanSino developed the vaccine in partnership with China's military. Health Canada has approved the first human clinical trials that will run at the Canadian Centre for Vaccinology at Dalhousie University. The company is already conducting human clinical trials for the vaccine in China. Dr. Kulvinder Gill, a medical doctor based in the Toronto area and president of Concerned Ontario Doctors, says she's worried about Canadians becoming human subjects of a vaccine developed in China. Canada is literally the only country in the entire world offering up its own citizens as guinea pigs in this unethical, rapid human clinical trial of the Chinese SARS-CoV-2 vaccine in partnership with the Communist Chinese military that is already under a cloud of global suspicion, Gill says. SARS-CoV-2 is the scientific name of the Chinese Communist Party virus, also known as the novel coronavirus which causes COVID-19. And if you're a reader of the Epoch Times, you'll know that they always make sure to call it the CCP virus. The Canadian government is spending $44 million to upgrade NRC's Montreal facilities to enable mass production of a vaccine for COVID-19. The NRC has been working with CanSino since 2013. The really interesting part about that is that Canada is actually not going to make any money off of this vaccine. If they produce a bazillion of them, China's going to make the money. They only spent a few $100,000 to buy the right to this fetal cell line, which was taken from an aborted fetus in 1973 and been reused and reused to make these vaccines. So they've paid a one-time non-exclusive licensing fee, and they may make the vaccine here, but Canada is not going to profit from the development of this. And that's been said in separate media reports. Gill says the process for developing a vaccine shouldn't be rushed, citing comments from Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And he said, I quote, "I must warn that there is also the possibility of negative consequences where certain vaccines can actually enhance the negative effect of the infection," end quote, Fauci said recently. Sort of reminds me of the time where he said in January of 2017, there will be a surprise outbreak during this administration. Gill says the process for developing vaccines normally takes years. Quote, "This human clinical trial with Chinese Communist Party vaccine is proceeding at an alarming rate," she says. "The typical vaccine development cycle is approximately 10 to 15 years. The shortest vaccine development cycle on record is actually 4 years, and that was for the mumps vaccine." Gill also notes that China has a bad record when it comes to vaccines. She says there have been several major vaccine scandals in China in recent years, including in 2018 when hundreds of thousands of children were injected with faulty vaccines. Quote, "Most colleagues and other Canadians that I have spoken to have said that they want nothing to do with the vaccine if there's any affiliation with the Chinese Communist Party because there's such lack of trust in overall handling of the epidemic to date," she says. As reported by the Epoch Times, the Chinese regime hid information about the human-to-human transmission of the CCP virus for at least several days, and reprimanded whistleblowers who tried to warn others about the virus. The NRC was subjected to intense cyber attacks by Chinese state-sponsored hackers in 2014, costing hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. Gill believes that legitimate informed consent would include telling participants of the CCP's involvement in the vaccine. However, she would prefer that the partnership be dropped altogether. Quote, "It's fundamental for our government to abandon this dangerous endeavor and instead fund vaccine trials with our allied nations who understand the importance of trust and ethics and transparency," end quote. The Epoch Times reached out to the NRC and Health Canada, but no comments were received by Press Time. A spokesperson for the Canadian Centre of Vaccinology said, "We are still waiting for final approval and will be in touch soon to give you detailed study information." Yes, because they are proceeding with phase 2 when phase 1 results have not even been disclosed. At least not publicly. Health Canada has apparently seen them. This doctor really wants to know, are people going to know if they take this vaccine trial that this is something that is made with a company that works hand in hand with the Chinese Military Academy of Sciences? Who knows? Another thing you might find interesting that I'm not really hearing anywhere else is that on Dr. Colvinder's Twitter page, she's talking about how studies are starting to show that people are developing a natural immunity to coronavirus, just as they did with SARS and with MERS in past outbreaks. Also, if you go to her Twitter handle, and you can see it just right over here in the right-hand corner, results of studies on hydroxychloroquine, because the World Health Organization in 2017 said that really there had been no deaths from it in millions of administered doses. And in addition to that, 10,000 police officers in Mumbai, they could take hydroxychloroquine or not take it. It was roughly half and half. The ones that took it, none of them died. The ones that did not take it, 9 of them died. In a related note, there was a protest today in New Brunswick about that province's mandatory vaccination law, which actually they have to use the notwithstanding clause to overrule the Canadian Constitution to make those vaccines mandatory. All right, that's all I've got for Lee TV today. If you like this channel, if you appreciate what I'm doing, send me a little tip. E-transfer to eternalee, that's eternal with 2 E's, @gmail.com. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. We'll see you soon.